I have this LED light ring. It's intended for photography and videography, and it was very cheap. It came with a lot of extras and add-ons, but unfortunately only half of it lights up. I plugged it into power, and there you go. You see only half of it lights up. Actually, it'll flicker if I hit it. If I get it just right, you'll see it flicker. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can open this thing up, and I would like to fix it. It was really cheap. I didn't ask for a refund or anything. It came with enough extras and gear that I really don't feel like I got ripped off, even though it only half lights up. So I'm just going to try to fix it. And if I can, good. If not, well, at least it puts out some light. There's my first look inside of it. This is actually way cooler than I thought it would be. So let me see if I can figure out what's going on here. I don't really want to stare at these really bright LEDs with my bare eye. So first I'm just going to try to look for something obvious. I can see that the soldering looks a little questionable, and the connection here looks a little bit messed up. This plug here may not be properly soldered. So what I'm going to do is take the screws out. It looks like these are all chained together. I'm going to take the screws out, and maybe there's a bad connection or something. I'm guessing there's a bad connection right there. Let me go ahead and plug the power in and see if I can figure this out. Okay, the camera probably isn't showing it very well, but I turned it back on and I dimmed it down as far as it'll go. Now I can try to figure out what's going on here. Ah, here we go. I think I found the fault. It must be right over here in this corner. Yeah, I think I found what's wrong. Let me try to bring it around this way. Wow, those are bright. Try not to look at them. Yeah, this little connector here looks like it's bad. There's a close-up. It's actually very sensitive. If I push on that a little bit, all the LEDs light up. I can just barely touch it. Temporary camera mounting setup here just so I can try to get some footage. I'm working on a better setup for my camera, but I've not had time to build it yet. So I'm just going to try to put a little bit of solder on this connector here. I think it's broken loose, or maybe it never really got soldered. I don't know. And this tip of the soldering iron might be too big, but I'm going to give it a try. And I'm using leaded solder. It's really tiny. This soldering tip is just too blunt and thick. I need a thinner soldering tip, so I'm just going to try to get by with what I have. This tip is just too large, so just going to solder blob it on. This would be a good tip for general purpose, but these connections are really, really small, so I'm not going to worry about how it looks too much. Okay, I think that's connected again. Let's see. I don't think this was ever properly connected. Or it was a cold solder joint, or who knows. Go ahead and give it a try. Looks like the warm yellow LEDs do not light up. So we still have a problem somewhere. That the plug on the board is not working. So I'm going to use my voltmeter to see if there's any voltage coming off here. I think the middle pin is ground or common. That's the warm white, and I'm getting 2.42 volts. So the power is coming out. And on the white side, let's probe that. Hard to do this with a camera blocking me. Still getting 2.4 volts. Yeah, so the power is definitely coming out right there. That's not a problem with that. The problem is that the plug doesn't seem to be passing the voltage through. Alright, so plan B, I'm just going to do a bodge here. Let me turn it off so it'll stop blinding me. I'm simply going to remove the plug, and I'm going to leave that header, or whatever you call it, on there. Try to line it up somewhat. Tighten the screw. And what I'm going to try to do is just solder that on there. I think that would work better than trying to fool around with this plug. I don't think the plug is... I can't seem to get the plug to work, so I'm not going to try anymore. I'll try to bend the pins down a little. I hope that'll work. And also the outside pins, I'm going to bend them just a little bit out. Just a touch. Because soldering these is really difficult with a large soldering tip. Okay, I had quite a time solder blobbing those tiny little connections there with a giant soldering iron. It's thicker than the connection I'm trying to solder. But it's working now. All the warm lights come on. All the white lights come on. Go ahead and dim it down some. You can see on the left, they're all coming on now. So thank God I didn't waste my money on this thing after all. I'll be able to use it. I'm going to use this as a camera light, so I'll just put it back together. It turns out there were multiple bad connections, so buyer beware. If you get one of these rings and it has this kind of arrangement with the plugs, I think the plugs are faulty, or they're under too much tension and they're breaking or not making good contact. So I had to fiddle around for another 20 minutes before I found the other bad connection, and now it's working fine. Looks good. I'm going to return this to service now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.